The water was up to her waist and rising. Imani's scrubs clung to her skin, ice cold, but her hands stayed steady on the man's arm. His weight pulled against her. Dead weight, unconscious, his expensive suit jacket waterlogged and heavy. "Stay with me." Her voice cut through the rain. She didn't know if he could hear her. Didn't matter. She kept talking anyway. "You're not dying today. Not on my watch." His head lolled forward. No response. The floodwater surged, pushing them both sideways. Imani locked her knees, tightened her grip, and pulled. The street was empty. No help coming. Just her, him, and water that wouldn't stop rising. 3 weeks ago, she'd pulled a drowning man from a submerged car. Today, he walked into her ER in a $10,000 suit, looking for the woman who saved his life. Family, welcome back to our channel, where we bring you emotional stories of love. Because in truth, love and death cannot be escaped. No one can say when, how, or where. It's never too early or too late. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button right now so you don't miss what happens next. And if you're one of our returning viewers, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Now, stay with us to the end of this story. Leave a comment with your thoughts and like this video. Let's continue. 3 weeks earlier. The rain came down like it had a grudge. Imani's windshield wipers worked double time, barely keeping up. Her phone buzzed in the cup holder. Mama's third call in an hour. She'd call back when she got home. Right now, she just wanted to get off Highway 59 before the flooding got worse. Red taillights blurred ahead of her. Traffic crawled. The underpass loomed, water pooling beneath it deeper than it should be. Her Honda's engine complained as she eased through. That's when she saw it. Brake lights. Submerged. Half a car length under the overpass, sinking fast into water that was already hood deep. Imani's foot hit the brake. Her hands tightened on the wheel. Someone's in there. She pulled onto the shoulder, threw the car in park, and was out before she could second-guess it. Rain soaked through her scrubs instantly. The water was freezing when she stepped in, thigh-deep and rising. "Hey!" She yelled toward the car. No movement. The windows were up, dark. "Can you hear me?" Nothing. Imani pushed forward, each step heavier than the last. Water tugged at her legs like it wanted her down too. The current was stronger than it looked. She reached the driver's side window, cupped her hands around her eyes. A man. Slumped over the steering wheel. Not moving. Her pulse kicked up, but her training kicked in harder. She tried the door. Locked. The water pressure made it impossible anyway. Okay. She scanned the car. Rear window. Partially open, maybe 2 inches. Enough. She waded to the back, got her fingers under the glass and pulled. It budged. She pulled again, harder, ignoring the way the edge bit into her palms. The window slid down 6 inches. Then a foot. Good enough. Imani hauled herself up and squeezed through, gasping as water poured in with her. The inside of the car was chaos. Papers floating, phone drifting past her arm, water rising fast. She pushed toward the front seat. The man was face down on the wheel. 30s maybe. Jeans. White t-shirt. Brown hair. No jewelry. No wallet in the cup holder. Blood on his temple where he'd hit something. "Hey." She grabbed his shoulder, shook him. "Hey, can you hear me?" No response. The water was at the bottom of the seats now. Imani reached around him, popped the seatbelt, and hooked her arms under his. He was heavier than he looked. Solid, tall, dead weight. She braced her feet against the center console and pulled. He came free. Barely. Getting him through the rear window was harder. Water streamed in, filling the car faster. Her arms burned. Her lungs burned. But she got his shoulders through, then his chest, and finally pulled him out into the floodwater outside. The current grabbed them both immediately. Imani locked her arm around his chest and kicked toward the shoulder. Her feet barely found purchase on the asphalt beneath the water. Rain pounded her face. She couldn't see. Couldn't think. Just move. Get him out. Her foot hit the curb and she stumbled, dragging him up onto the sloped shoulder. They collapsed in the mud and grass, both soaking, him still not moving. Come on. Imani rolled him onto his back, checked his airway. Not breathing. She tilted his head, checked again. Still nothing. CPR. She'd done it 1,000 times in the ER. Never in a hurricane. She locked her hands, positioned them over his chest, and started compressions. 1, 2, 3. The rain made it hard to keep her hands from slipping. She counted out loud, her voice hoarse. 15. Come on. 16. 17. 30 compressions. She bent down, gave 2 rescue breaths. His chest rose and fell. Good. Back to compressions. Her arms shook. Water streamed down her face. She lost count, started over. Come on. Come on. Another breath. Another round. His chest jerked. He coughed. Violent, wet. Water spilled from his mouth as he rolled onto his side. Gagging. Imani sat back on her heels, gasping. Her whole body trembled. That's it. Get it out. He coughed until he could breathe, then collapsed onto his back again, chest heaving. His eyes opened, unfocused, gray-green, confused. You're okay. Imani leaned over him, checking his pupils. You were in an accident. You're out. Can you hear me? He blinked. His lips moved but no sound came. Don't try to talk. Ambulance is coming. She pulled her phone from her pocket, soaked through, dead. Okay. They're coming. I'm sure someone called. He stared at her like she was speaking another language. Sirens wailed in the distance. Imani looked back at the highway. Red and blue lights flashed through the rain. See? Told you. She looked back down at him. His color was coming back. That was good. You're gonna be fine. What's your name? He opened his mouth, closed it, shook his head slightly. That's okay. Don't worry about it. She grabbed his wrist, checked his pulse. Strong. Steady. Just stay awake for me. The paramedics arrived in a blur of lights and voices. They loaded him onto a stretcher, wrapped him in blankets, asked Imani 100 questions she barely answered. She was freezing now, shaking too hard to stand still. One of the paramedics, a guy she recognized from the ER, grabbed her shoulder. You good? Fine. You pulled him out? Yeah. Hell of a thing. You probably saved his life. Imani shrugged. Her teeth chattered. Just happened to see him. They loaded the man into the ambulance. He turned his head toward her as they closed the doors, those gray-green eyes locking on hers for just a second. Then they were gone. Imani stood in the rain for another minute, breathing hard. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Adrenaline crash. She knew what it was. Didn't make it easier. She walked back to her car, started the engine, and drove home. Mama called again. This time, Imani answered. 3 weeks later. The ER was packed. Friday night in Houston meant everything from car accidents to cooking burns to people who'd put off seeing a doctor for 3 months and decided tonight was the night. Imani moved through it all on autopilot. Vitals, triage, paperwork, repeat. Her feet ached. Her back ached. She had 2 more hours on her shift and approximately 0 energy left. Imani. Deshawn, one of the younger nurses, jogged up to her at the nurses' station. There's a guy asking for you up front. She didn't look up from the chart she was updating. Tell him I'm with a patient. He's not a patient. He's just asking for you. By name. That got her attention. Imani glanced up. Who is he? Didn't say. Just said he needs to talk to the nurse who worked the night shift 3 weeks ago. I told him we had like 5 nurses that night, and he described you. Imani frowned. Described me how? Black woman, braids, kind eyes, I think he said. Deshawn grinned. Dude's either grateful or in love. Stop. But her stomach did something weird. She closed the chart. Where is he? Waiting area. Imani walked out front, expecting. Honestly, she didn't know what she expected. Maybe the guy she'd pulled from the flood. She'd wondered about him a few times. Whether he was okay. Whether he remembered. The man standing by the window didn't look like he'd almost drowned 3 weeks ago. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her rent. Tailored, sharp, perfectly pressed. His hair was styled, face clean-shaven, posture straight. He looked like he'd walked out of a boardroom and into the wrong building. And when he turned around, Imani's breath caught. It was him. Gray-green eyes, same face. But completely different. He saw her and his expression shifted. Relief, recognition, something else she couldn't name. "Hi." His voice was deeper than she expected. Steady. "I've been looking for you." Imani's hands went to her hips. Defensive. She felt suddenly aware of her wrinkled scrubs, her frizzy edges under her bonnet, the fact that she smelled like antiseptic and exhaustion. "You found me." He stepped closer. Not invasive, just present. "I wanted to thank you. For what you did." "You're welcome." Her tone was flat. Professional. She glanced back toward the nurse's station. "I'm glad you're okay. I should get back. Please." He held up a hand. "Just give me a minute." Something in his voice made her pause. He exhaled. "I don't remember much from that night. But I remember you. Your face. Your voice. You telling me I wasn't going to die." Imani's chest tightened. "I've spent 3 weeks trying to find you," he continued. "The paramedics wouldn't give me your name. Hospital wouldn't either. I had to. I called every hospital in Houston until someone said a nurse fitting your description worked here. That's a HIPAA violation waiting to happen. I was persistent. Clearly." She crossed her arms. "Look, I appreciate you coming by. But you don't owe me anything. I'm a nurse. That's what I do." "You weren't on duty that night." Imani blinked. "You were driving home," he said quietly. "You didn't have to stop. You didn't have to pull me out. Most people wouldn't have. Most people aren't nurses. Most people would have called 911 and kept driving." She didn't have an answer for that. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope. Thick. Too thick. "I wanted to give you this. As a thank you." Imani stared at it. "I don't want your money. It's not. I don't care what it is." Her voice went hard. "I didn't pull you out so you'd pay me. I did it because you needed help." He lowered the envelope slowly. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. "Okay," he said. "No money. Can I at least buy you dinner?" "No. Coffee." "I'm working. After your shift." Imani almost laughed. The audacity. "I don't even know your name." "Marcus." He extended his hand. "Marcus Caldwell." The name didn't mean anything to her. She didn't take his hand. "Imani Harris. And I still don't want coffee." Marcus dropped his hand but didn't step back. "Can I ask why?" "Because you showing up here with your..." She gestured at him, at the suit, the whole picture. "All of this. It feels like you're trying to pay off a debt. And I don't work that way. That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I just wanted to see you again." The honesty in his voice stopped her cold. Before she could respond, Deshawn's voice called from behind her. "Imani. Trauma incoming, we need you." She turned, already moving. "I'm coming." When she glanced back, Marcus was still standing there, watching her go. Their eyes met across the waiting room. She didn't know why, but something in her chest pulled tight. Then she pushed through the doors and back into the chaos, where she belonged. Family, if you watched this story up to this point, it means it moved you. Leave your thoughts and tell me where you are watching from in the comment, and make sure to like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Smash the hype button now if you found value in this content. It really helps my channel. If this story touched your heart today, consider leaving a super thanks. Your support helps me keep creating these emotional stories for you. And every single contribution, big or small, means the world. Thank you for being part of this journey. Marcus came back the next night. Imani saw him through the waiting room windows as she walked past with a patient's chart. Same spot by the window. Different suit. Navy this time. He had a coffee cup in his hand and he was just waiting. She pretended not to see him. By the third night, it was harder to ignore. Your boyfriend's back, Deshawn said, grinning as he passed her in the hallway. He's not my boyfriend. Then why's he been here 3 nights in a row? Because he's got nothing better to do, apparently. Deshawn's eyes gleamed. Girl, that man is fine and he's clearly into you. What's the problem? Imani shot him a look. The problem is I don't have time for whatever this is. Whatever this is a man who looks at you like you hung the moon. When's the last time someone looked at you like that? Never. But she wasn't about to say that out loud. When her shift ended at midnight, Marcus was still there. The waiting room had cleared out except for one family sleeping in the corner chairs. He stood when he saw her coming. You're persistent, Imani said, stopping a few feet away. I've been told that. It's not a compliment. I'll take what I can get. He held up a white paper bag. I brought you something. I told you. It's not money. It's food. You worked a 12-hour shift. I'm guessing you haven't eaten. Her stomach chose that exact moment to growl. Traitor. Marcus's mouth twitched. Almost a smile. There's a bench outside. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Imani looked at him. Really looked. The expensive suit couldn't hide the tiredness in his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. He'd been sitting in a hospital waiting room for 3 hours just to give her food. 5 minutes, she said finally. They sat on the bench outside the ER entrance. The night was humid, sticky, but better than the recycled hospital air. Marcus handed her the bag. Inside, still warm collard greens, cornbread, mac and cheese, and fried chicken from Frenchie's. Imani's eyebrows shot up. How'd you know? Know what? This is my favorite spot. He shrugged. I asked around. Someone at the coffee shop down the street said nurses from this hospital always order from there. She pulled out the container of collard greens, cracked it open. The smell hit her and her mouth watered. She hadn't realized how hungry she was. Thank you, she said quietly. You're welcome. They sat in silence while she ate. Marcus didn't press, didn't talk, just sat there looking out at the parking lot like he had nowhere else to be. Why are you really here? Imani asked after she'd finished half the greens. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Honestly. Yeah. Because I can't stop thinking about that night. He turned to look at her. I was on my way to close a deal. Biggest one of my career. I was distracted, driving too fast, not paying attention. The water came up faster than I expected and I lost control. He paused, jaw tight. I remember the car filling up, knowing I was about to die. And then, nothing. Until I woke up and saw your face. His voice dropped. You were soaked. Shaking. And you were telling me everything was going to be okay. Like you actually believed it. Imani's chest tightened. No one's ever looked at me like that, Marcus continued. Like I mattered. Not my money, not my company, not what I could do for them. Just me. You didn't have a wallet, Imani said. I had no idea who you were. Exactly. He met her eyes. That's why I can't stop thinking about you. The words hung between them. Imani closed the container slowly. Marcus. I appreciate this. I do. But you and me. We're from different worlds. You don't know what world I'm from. I can guess. She gestured at his suit. That's Tom Ford, isn't it? Your watch probably costs more than I make in 6 months. You probably live in River Oaks, drive a car that costs more than my apartment, and have people who do things for you that I do for myself. Marcus didn't deny any of it. See? Imani stood. Thank you for dinner. But whatever you think this is, it's not going anywhere. Why not? Because I don't fit into your life. And you definitely don't fit into mine. She walked away before he could respond. But the next night, he was back. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus became a fixture at Houston Memorial. He didn't always approach her. Sometimes he just sat in the waiting room, working on his laptop. Other times he'd bring her coffee during her break. Once he brought flowers, not for her, but for the nurse's station. For everyone, he'd said when Deshawn whistled. Imani tried to stay annoyed. But it was getting harder, especially when she started noticing things. Like how he always said thank you to the janitorial staff. How he held the door for everyone, not just her. How he sat with an elderly man in the waiting room one night, just talking, until the man's daughter arrived. He wasn't performing. He was just himself. One Friday night, Imani's car wouldn't start. She turned the key 3 times. Nothing but clicking. Perfect, she muttered, dropping her head against the steering wheel. A knock on her window made her jump. Marcus stood there, hands in his pockets. She rolled down the window. Are you following me now? I was leaving when I saw you having trouble. Battery. Probably. I can give you a jump. I'll call AAA. AAA's gonna take an hour this time of night. I have cables in my car. Imani wanted to argue. She was tired of arguing. Fine. Marcus's car was exactly what she expected. Sleek, black, expensive. He pulled it around, popped the hood of both cars, and got to work. His suit jacket came off. He rolled up his sleeves. Imani watched him work, something shifting in her chest. He knew what he was doing. Moved with the kind of competence that came from actually doing things, not just paying someone else to do them. Try it now, he called. She turned the key. The engine sputtered, then caught. There you go. Marcus closed both hoods, wiped his hands on a rag from his trunk. When he turned back, there was grease on his shirt cuff. You just ruined $1,000 shirt, Imani said. He glanced down, shrugged. It's just a shirt, says the man who can afford $1,000 shirt. I grew up in Acres Homes, Marcus said quietly. I wore the same 3 shirts for 2 years in high school because my mama couldn't afford new ones. This. He gestured at himself. This is new. The kid who couldn't afford shirts. That's who I still am inside. Imani stared at him. I built my company from nothing, he continued. Worked 3 jobs through college. Slept in my car for 6 months when I first started out. I know what it's like to struggle. I haven't forgotten. Then why the suit? Why all of this? Because it's what people expect from a CEO. It's armor. He met her eyes. But I'm just Marcus. Same guy you pulled out of that flood. Same guy who almost died because he was too proud to slow down. Something in Imani's chest cracked open. Why are you telling me this? She asked softly. Because you keep acting like we're from different worlds. And maybe we are now. But we weren't always. And I think that matters. A car pulled into the lot, headlights sweeping over them. Marcus stepped back. Thank you, Imani said. For the jump. Any time. She should have left. Should have gotten in her car and driven away. Instead, she heard herself say, My mama's having surgery next week. Nothing serious, just her knee. But I took the day off to be there. Marcus waited. There's this place she loves. Mrs. Johnson's Kitchen. Makes the best peach cobbler in Houston. I'm planning to pick some up after, take it to her. Sounds nice. Imani took a breath. You want to come? Marcus's expression shifted. Surprise, then something warmer. To the hospital? To Mrs. Johnson's? After. Just. To get cobbler. That's it. Just cobbler. That's it. He smiled. Really smiled, and it changed his whole face. I'd like that. Okay then. Imani got in her car, rolled down the window. I'll text you the details. You don't have my number. She held up the business card he'd left at the nurse's station 2 weeks ago. The one she'd definitely not kept in her locker. Marcus laughed. See you next week, Imani. She drove away with something fluttering in her chest that felt dangerously close to hope. Mama's surgery went smoothly. Imani sat in the waiting room for 3 hours, responding to work emails and ignoring the nervous energy in her stomach that had nothing to do with her mother's knee replacement. When the doctor came out and said everything went perfectly, Imani felt her shoulders drop 3 inches. "She'll be groggy for a while," the doctor said. "But you can sit with her." Imani did. Held Mama's hand while she slept off the anesthesia, listened to the steady beep of monitors. Her phone buzzed. "Marcus. How'd it go?" Imani. "Good. She's sleeping now." Marcus. "Good. Still on for cobbler?" Imani. "Give me an hour." Marcus. "Take your time." When Mama woke up, she was predictably grumpy about being in a hospital bed. "I told you I didn't need surgery. My knee was fine." "Mama, you couldn't walk upstairs." "I don't need stairs. I got an elevator." Imani smiled, kissed her mother's forehead. "I'm gonna go pick up your cobbler. I'll be back tonight." "You better be." Mama squeezed her hand. "And bring me some of those butter rolls too." "Yes, ma'am." In the parking lot, Imani found Marcus leaning against his car. He'd changed. Jeans, a simple gray Henley, boots. He looked younger. More relaxed. "Hey," she said. "Hey." He pushed off the car. "How's your mom?" "Already complaining." "Which means she's fine." Marcus smiled. "That's good." He gestured to his car. "You want to drive together or separate?" "Separate. I need to come back here later." "Fair enough. Lead the way." Mrs. Johnson's kitchen was a small spot in Third Ward, the kind of place that didn't need a sign because everyone already knew where it was. The lunch rush had cleared out, leaving only a few regulars at the counter. Mrs. Johnson herself, a woman in her 70s with silver locks and reading glasses on a chain, lit up when Imani walked in. "Baby girl. I heard about your mama. How's she doing?" "She's good, Mrs. J. Just got out of surgery." "Well, you tell her I'm praying for her. And you know she needs to come see me when she's healed up." Mrs. Johnson's eyes drifted to Marcus behind Imani. "And who's this?" "This is Marcus." "Marcus, Mrs. Johnson." "Pleasure, ma'am." Marcus extended his hand. Mrs. Johnson took it, studying him with the kind of look that saw right through people. "You're the one, aren't you?" Imani blinked. "The one what?" "The one my girl pulled out of that flood. She told me about it. Said she fished out some man who almost drowned under the underpass." Marcus's eyebrows rose. "You told her about me?" "I tell Mrs. J everything," Imani said quickly. It doesn't mean anything." Mrs. Johnson's smile was knowing. "Well, any friend of Imani's is family here. You two sit down. Let me fix you some plates. We just came for cobbler." "Sit down." They sat. Mrs. Johnson disappeared into the kitchen. Imani could hear her back there, humming along to the Mary J. Blige playing on the radio. "She seems nice," Marcus said. "She's the best. Knew my grandma back in the day. Used to feed me for free when I was in nursing school and couldn't afford lunch." "You come here a lot?" "Every week. Sometimes twice." Imani traced a pattern on the worn table. "When Mama got sick last year, before the knee stuff, she had pneumonia. Mrs. J brought food to the hospital every day for 2 weeks. Wouldn't let me pay for any of it. That's real love. That's community." Imani met his eyes. "That's what people do when you're from here. We take care of each other." Marcus nodded slowly. "I miss that sometimes." "What do you mean?" "When I started making money, things changed. People started treating me different. Like I was someone to impress or someone to use. I stopped knowing who was real and who just wanted something from me." He leaned back in his chair. "It's lonely if I'm being honest." Imani hadn't expected that level of honesty. "Is that why you kept coming back to the hospital?" "Partly. But mostly because when you looked at me that night, you saw a man who needed help. Not a CEO. Not a paycheck. Just a person. He held her gaze. Do you know how rare that is? Before she could answer, Mrs. Johnson emerged with 2 plates piled high. Smothered pork chops, rice and gravy, collard greens, candied yams, and cornbread. Mrs. J, this is too much. Hush. You're both too skinny. Eat. She set down sweet tea for both of them and disappeared back into the kitchen. Marcus stared at his plate. This looks incredible. Wait until you taste it. They ate in comfortable silence. Imani watched Marcus's face when he took his first bite of the pork chops. His eyes closed briefly. Okay, he said. I need to hire her. Don't even think about it. I'm serious. He took another bite. I haven't had food this good since my mama passed. Imani's heart squeezed. When did you lose her? 5 years ago. Cancer. His voice went quiet. She never got to see what I built. What her sacrifices turned into. She knew. Mamas always know. Marcus nodded, but his eyes were distant. They finished their plates. Mrs. Johnson brought out the peach cobbler, still warm, with vanilla ice cream melting over the top. The first bite was heaven. Sweet peaches, buttery crust, the perfect amount of cinnamon. Imani closed her eyes and let herself just feel it. When she opened them, Marcus was watching her. What? Nothing. You look happy. I am happy. This is the best cobbler in Houston. I believe it. They finished the cobbler slowly, neither one wanting to rush. Mrs. Johnson refused to let them pay for anything except the extra cobbler to go for Mama. You bring your mother by when she's better, she told Imani at the door. And you, she pointed at Marcus. You take care of my girl. She's special. I know she is, Marcus said. Outside, the afternoon sun was starting to dip. The street smelled like rain coming. Thank you for coming, Imani said. I know this probably wasn't what you're used to. Are you kidding? That was the best afternoon I've had in years. Really? Really? Marcus stepped closer. Not crowding her, just present. Imani, I know you think we're from different worlds. And maybe in some ways we are. But the things that matter, the things you value, community, family, taking care of people, I value those things too. I lost touch with them for a while. And you think I can help you find them again? I think you already have. Imani's breath caught. The air between them felt charged, heavy with possibility. I need to tell you something, Marcus said. And I should have told you earlier. Her stomach dropped. What? I looked you up. After you wouldn't take my money. I wanted to understand who you were. He paused. I saw your mother's medical bills. The second mortgage on your place. The fact that you work double shifts 3 times a week. Imani went very still. You had no right. I know. And I'm sorry. But Imani, you saved my life. And you're drowning trying to save your mother too. Let me help. No. Why not? Because I don't need saving. Her voice rose. A couple walking past glanced over. She lowered it. I'm handling it. We're fine. You're not fine. You're exhausted. You work yourself to the bone and you never ask for help because you think that makes you weak. You don't know me. Then let me. His eyes were intense, pleading. Let me in. Let me help. Not because I owe you, because I want to. I don't want your money, Marcus. Then what do you want? The question hung there. What did she want? She'd been so busy surviving, she'd forgotten to think about wanting. I don't know, she admitted quietly. Marcus reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hand covered hers, warm and solid. Then let's figure it out together. Thunder rumbled overhead. The first drops of rain started to fall. I need to get back to Mama, Imani said. Okay. But neither of them moved. The rain came down harder. They stood there in it, hands still touching, something unspoken building between them. Marcus. I'm not going anywhere, he said. I know that scares you. But I'm not going anywhere. Imani's chest felt too full, too tight, like something was trying to break free and she wasn't sure she could handle it. I need time, she whispered. Take all the time you need. I'll be here. She pulled her hand away gently, got in her car, drove back to the hospital with her heart pounding and Mrs. Johnson's words echoing in her head. He's special. Don't let him go. 3 weeks passed. Marcus kept his word. He didn't push, didn't show up at the hospital uninvited. But he texted. Good morning messages, articles about new medical research he thought she'd find interesting, pictures of sunsets from his office window. Small things. Steady things. Imani found herself looking forward to them. Mama came home from the hospital and immediately started bossing Imani around from her recliner. I can walk, baby. I don't need you hovering. Doctor said 6 weeks of rest. Doctor doesn't live in my body. But Mama was healing well. Physical therapy 3 times a week, and she was already walking better than she had in 2 years. The surgery had been the right call. The medical bills, though, those were a different story. Imani sat at her kitchen table on a Tuesday night, calculator in one hand, stack of envelopes in the other. Even with insurance, Mama's surgery had cost more than she'd anticipated. The payment plan was manageable. Barely, but it meant no breathing room for the next year. Maybe longer. Her phone buzzed. Marcus, how's your mom? Imani, good. Annoying, which means she's definitely feeling better. Marcus, that's great. How are you? Imani stared at the question. When was the last time someone had asked her that and actually wanted to know? Imani, tired. But okay. Marcus, want company? Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She should say no. Should keep that distance. But God, she was tired of being strong alone. Imani, yeah. Actually, I do. He showed up 40 minutes later with Thai food and a 6-pack of ginger beer. You remembered, Imani said, looking at the ginger beer. You mentioned it once. Said it reminded you of your grandma. He'd been paying attention. To the small things. The things most people missed. They ate on her couch, a second-hand thing she'd bought off Craigslist 5 years ago. Marcus didn't seem to notice or care that her apartment was a fraction of the size of what he probably lived in. He just settled in like he belonged there. So, he said between bites of pad thai, tell me about nursing. Why'd you choose it? My grandma was a nurse. She used to tell me stories about the people she helped. Made it sound like the most important job in the world. Imani smiled at the memory. She'd come home exhausted, but she'd always have this light in her eyes. Like she'd done something that mattered. Sounds like she was a lot like you. I hope so. She was the best person I knew. Imani set down her fork. She's the one who raised me, really. Mama worked 3 jobs. Grandma was the one who made sure I did my homework, went to church, stayed out of trouble. Where's your dad? Gone. Left when I was 4. Mama doesn't talk about him. Marcus nodded slowly. Mine left too. Before I was born. So you get it. Yeah. I get it. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Marcus said, Can I ask you something? Depends what it is. Why won't you let me help with your mother's bills? Imani stiffened. Marcus. I'm not trying to start a fight. I genuinely want to understand. She set down her food, pulled her knees up to her chest. Because if I let you pay for things, what does that make this? What are we? What do you want us to be? The question stopped her cold. I don't know, she said finally. All I know is that every man I've ever dated wanted something from me. My time, my energy, my everything. And I gave it because I thought that's what love was supposed to look like. And then they left anyway. Her voice cracked on the last word. Marcus set his food down too. I'm not them. How do I know that? You don't. Not yet. He turned to face her fully. But Imani, I'm not offering to pay your mother's bills because I want something from you. I'm offering because watching you carry everything alone is killing me. And because I can help. And because... He stopped, swallowed hard. Because I'm falling for you. And when you care about someone, you show up. You help. Not because you expect something back, but because their pain is your pain. Imani's eyes burned. I know I came into your life in the worst way, Marcus continued. I know I represent everything you're suspicious of. But I'm asking you to see me. Not my bank account. Not my company. Me. I do see you, she whispered. That's what scares me. Why? Because I could fall for you too. And I don't know how to do this. She gestured between them. When our lives are so different. You have fundraisers and board meetings and business dinners. I have 12-hour shifts and meal prep Sundays and falling asleep on my couch. How does that work? Marcus reached out, took her hand. It works because we want it to. Because we make space for each other. Because who I am with you is who I want to be all the time. Just Marcus, not the CEO everyone expects me to be. And what if it's not enough? What if you wake up one day and realize I don't fit in your world? Then I'll change my world. He said it so simply. Like it was the easiest decision he'd ever make. Imani, I've spent 10 years building a company. Chasing success. Thinking that's what would make me happy. And I was miserable. Then you pulled me out of that flood and I realized, I've been drowning my whole life. Just in a different way. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Marcus wiped them away gently with his thumb. Let me be there for you. Please. Not with money. Though God, if you ever decide you want that help, I'm here. But just... let me be there. Let me bring you dinner after long shifts. Let me meet your mama properly. Let me show you that I'm not going anywhere. Imani's walls crumbled. All the defenses she'd built up, all the reasons she'd given herself to keep distance, they dissolved under the weight of his honesty. Okay, she breathed. Okay. Okay. She squeezed his hand. But you have to understand, I'm not easy. I work crazy hours. I'm stubborn. I don't know how to let people take care of me. I'll learn. We'll figure it out together. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull back. She didn't. Their lips met, soft and tentative at first, then deeper. He tasted like ginger and promises. His hand cupped her face like she was precious. Breakable. When they pulled apart, Imani was breathless. I should go, Marcus said quietly. Before I can't make myself leave. Probably smart. But neither of them moved for a long moment. Finally, Marcus stood, pulled her up with him. At her door, he kissed her forehead. I'll text you tomorrow. You better. He was halfway down the hall when she called after him. Marcus. He turned. Thank you. For seeing me. His smile was soft, real. Thank you for letting me. The next morning, Imani woke up to 17 missed calls. Her heart stopped. She grabbed her phone, saw Mama's number, and terror flooded through her. She called back. 1 ring. 2. Mama. What's wrong? Are you okay? Baby, I'm fine. But you need to come over here right now. What happened? Just come. Please. Imani threw on clothes, didn't bother with breakfast, and broke 3 traffic laws getting to her mother's house. When she burst through the door, Mama was sitting in her recliner, very much alive and well. But her expression was strange. Caught between anger and something else. What's going on? You scared me half to death. Mama held up an envelope. Thick. Official looking. This came this morning. Certified mail. Imani took it. Read the return address. Her blood went cold. Houston Memorial Hospital. Billing Department. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside, a single page. A statement showing her mother's surgery bill. All $60,000 of it. Paid in full. And a note paperclip to the top in handwriting she didn't recognize. Because you shouldn't have to choose between love and survival. M. Imani's knees went weak. She sat down hard on the couch. Who is M? Mama asked quietly. And why did they pay my medical bills? Imani couldn't speak. couldn't breathe. Her hand shook so hard the paper rattled. Marcus had done this. After she'd explicitly told him not to. After she'd explained why she couldn't accept his money. He'd gone behind her back and paid it anyway. $60,000. Gone. Just like that. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. I know you're angry. We need to talk. Imani stared at the message. At the paid bill. At her mother's worried face. She felt something crack open in her chest. Not the good kind of breaking. The kind that felt like betrayal. I need to go, she said, standing abruptly. Imani, baby, talk to me. I can't right now, Mama. I need to go. She left before the tears came. Imani didn't answer Marcus's calls. Not the first one. Not the 10th. She went to work, moved through her shift like a robot. Her coworkers noticed. She saw them exchanging glances, but no one said anything. She didn't know what she felt. Grateful. Furious. Betrayed. All of it tangled together until she couldn't separate one emotion from another. He'd paid her mother's bills. $60,000. Like it was nothing. And maybe to him it was nothing. That was the problem. On her lunch break, she finally listened to one of his voicemails. Imani, please. I know you're upset. I know I crossed a line. But I couldn't. His voice cracked. I couldn't watch you drown trying to save everyone else. Please. Just let me explain. Face to face. She deleted it. But when her shift ended and she walked out to the parking lot, Marcus was there. Leaning against her car, hands in his pockets, looking more uncertain than she'd ever seen him. You shouldn't be here, she said. I know. I'm not ready to talk to you. I know that too. He straightened. But I need to say this. Then I'll leave you alone if that's what you want. Imani crossed her arms. Fine. Talk. Marcus took a breath. I'm sorry. You told me not to pay your mother's bills and I did it anyway. I violated your trust and your boundaries. That was wrong. You're damn right it was wrong. But I'm not sorry I did it. His voice was firm now. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I went behind your back. But I'm not sorry your mother's bills are paid. I'm not sorry you can breathe again. That wasn't your choice to make. You're right. It wasn't. He stepped closer. But Imani, you were killing yourself. Working 70-hour weeks, not sleeping, barely eating. You were going to burn out and I couldn't. His voice broke. I couldn't watch that happen. So you what? Decided to swoop in and save me? Like I'm some charity case. That's not what this is. Then what is it? Her voice rose. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you think your money can fix everything. That you can just throw cash at problems and make them disappear. Is that really what you think of me? I don't know what to think anymore. Tears burned her eyes. You said you saw me. That I wasn't like everyone else in your life who wanted something from you. But then you turn around and do the one thing I asked you not to do. So what am I supposed to believe? Marcus's jaw worked. When he spoke, his voice was rough. When I was 15, my mama got sick. Nothing major, just an infection. But we didn't have insurance. She tried to push through it, kept working, kept taking care of me. Until she collapsed at her job and they rushed her to the ER. He paused, eyes distant. The bill was $1,200. We didn't have it. Mama tried to set up a payment plan, but it was too much. She took on a fourth job. I watched her work herself into the ground trying to pay it off. And I swore, his voice cracked. I swore if I ever had money, I would never let someone I cared about suffer like that. Never. Imani's throat tightened. So yeah, I paid your mother's bills. And I knew you'd be angry. I knew it might cost me. This. Us. Whatever we were building. But I also knew I couldn't live with myself if I didn't. He met her eyes. I'm not trying to control you or save you. I'm trying to love you. And maybe I'm doing it wrong. But it's the only way I know how. The word love hung in the air between them. You love me. Imani whispered. Yes. We've known each other 6 weeks. I know. A ghost of a smile. Doesn't make it less true. Imani pressed her palms against her eyes. I don't know how to do this, Marcus. I don't know how to let someone take care of me. I've been on my own for so long. You're not on your own anymore. He closed the distance between them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't have to carry everything alone. Not anymore. But what if I can't give you what you need? What if I'm too broken? Stop. His hands framed her face, gentle but firm. You're not broken. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. You pulled a drowning man from a flood and brought him back to life. You work yourself to exhaustion taking care of other people. You love so fiercely it terrifies you. His thumb brushed her cheek. You're not broken, Imani. You're just tired. And I want to be the person who helps you rest. A sob broke free. Then another. Then she was crying in earnest, all the exhaustion and fear and loneliness of the past year pouring out. Marcus pulled her into his arms. She fought it for half a second, then gave in, pressing her face against his chest. He held her while she fell apart, one hand in her hair, the other around her waist, solid and steady and there. I'm so tired, she choked out. I know, baby. I know. I can't keep doing this alone. You don't have to. I'm right here. They stood like that in the parking lot as the sun set, Imani crying out months of stress while Marcus held her together. When she finally pulled back, her face was blotchy and her eyes were swollen. I look a mess. You look beautiful. You're biased. Completely. He smiled, brushed her hair back. Can we talk? Really talk? Yeah. But not here. She glanced around the parking lot. Come to my place. You sure? Yeah. I'm sure. They ordered pizza, sat on her couch, and talked. Really talked. Imani told him about the years after her grandmother died. About feeling lost and alone and like she had to be strong for her mother. About the men who'd taken advantage of that. About learning to trust no one but herself. Marcus told her about building his company. About the isolation that came with success. About the guilt of having money when the people who raised him had nothing. About his mother's death and how it nearly destroyed him. I threw myself into work after she passed, he said quietly. Worked 18-hour days. Told myself if I built something big enough, successful enough, it would mean her sacrifices weren't for nothing. He looked down at his hands. But I was just running. From grief. From guilt. From feeling anything at all. What changed? You. He met her eyes. I almost died in that flood, Imani. And in those seconds when I thought I was gone, all I could think was, I've wasted it. All of it. The money, the success. None of it mattered because I'd spent 10 years building an empire and I had no one to share it with. His voice dropped. Then I woke up and saw your face. This stranger who jumped into freezing water to save me. Who didn't care who I was or what I was worth. Who just saw a human being who needed help. He reached for her hand. You reminded me what matters. And I know I handled the bills wrong. I should have talked to you first. But Imani, I meant what I said. I'm falling in love with you. And I want to build a life with you. If you'll let me. Imani's heart hammered. A life? Yeah. Not me fitting into your world or you fitting into mine. Something new. Something ours. He squeezed her hand. I know it's fast. I know it's scary. But I also know I don't want to waste another day pretending I don't feel this. I'm scared, she admitted. Me too. What if we mess this up? Then we fix it. Together. Imani looked at him. Really looked. At the man who'd shown up at her job every night for 2 weeks just to bring her food. Who learned her favorite spots and remembered the small things. Who held her while she cried and didn't try to fix her. Just loved her through it. Who saw her. Really saw her. Okay, she said softly. Okay. Let's try. Let's build something. But Marcus, she held his gaze. If we do this, we do it as equals. No more big gestures without talking to me first. No more trying to fix things with money. We talk. We figure it out together. Deal? He pulled her close, pressed his forehead to hers. I'm still going to want to take care of you, though. I know. And I'll let you. Sometimes. When I'm ready. She smiled. And I'll take care of you too. That's how this works. I like the sound of that. He kissed her then. Slow and deep and full of promise. Imani melted into it, let herself feel it, let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, she deserved this. When they pulled apart, Marcus smiled against her lips. So, does this mean I can meet your mother officially now? As your boyfriend? Imani laughed. You paid her medical bills. I think you're past the introduction phase. Fair point. They spent the rest of the night on her couch. Talking, kissing, planning. Building something new. Together. The restaurant was packed. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, waiters in bow ties. The kind of place where people spoke in hushed tones and checked their phones under the table. Imani smoothed down the front of her dress. Deep purple, borrowed from her friend Deshawn's sister because she'd refused to let Marcus buy her one. She felt out of place. Exposed. Marcus reached under the table, squeezed her hand. You okay? Just nervous. They're going to love you. They're your board members. They're going to think I'm perfect. Because you are. She rolled her eyes but couldn't hide her smile. This was Marcus's big night. Caldwell Technologies was launching a new initiative. Green energy solutions for low-income communities. Affordable solar panels, energy-efficient upgrades, job training programs. It was ambitious, revolutionary, and it was Marcus's way of giving back to neighborhoods like the one he'd grown up in. The board had been skeptical, but Marcus had pushed it through anyway. Mr. Caldwell, a man in his 60s, approached the table, hand extended. Great turnout tonight. Marcus stood, shook his hand. Richard, thanks for coming. This is Imani Harris. Imani, Richard Chen, board member. Imani stood, shook his hand. Nice to meet you. Marcus has told us a lot about you, Richard said. His tone was pleasant but assessing. Nurse at Houston Memorial, correct? That's right. How do you find time for a relationship with your schedule? I imagine the hours are demanding. They are. But we make it work. She glanced at Marcus. When something matters, you find time. Richard nodded slowly. Well, enjoy the evening. When he walked away, Imani exhaled. Did I pass? With flying colors. Marcus pulled out her chair. Though I don't care if you didn't. You're not here for them. Then why am I here? He leaned down, whispered in her ear. Because I want everyone to see what I already know, that I'm the luckiest man in this room. Warmth spread through her chest. The dinner progressed. Speeches were made. Marcus presented the new initiative. His voice strong and confident. Imani watched him command the room and felt a surge of pride. This was her man. Building something that mattered. But halfway through dessert, Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned. Everything okay? Imani asked. I need to take this. I'll be right back. He kissed her temple, stepped away from the table. Imani sat alone, feeling suddenly very aware that she was the only person in the room not wearing designer clothes or discussing stock portfolios. So you're the famous Imani. She turned. A woman had slid into Marcus's seat, mid-40s, perfectly styled, smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'm sorry, have we met? Catherine Morrison. I've known Marcus for years. We've worked together. Something in her tone set Imani's teeth on edge. He's mentioned you. Has he? Catherine's smile sharpened. What exactly has he said? That you're on the board. That you've been supportive of the new initiative. Supportive. Catherine laughed softly. That's one word for it. Tell me, how long have you and Marcus been together? 6 months. 6 months. Catherine leaned back. And you're already attending board dinners. You must be quite special. I'd like to think so. Of course. Though I have to wonder. Catherine tilted her head. What does a nurse from Third Ward have in common with a billionaire CEO? There it was. The question Imani had been asking herself for 6 months. More than you'd think, Imani said evenly. I'm sure. Still, it must be quite an adjustment. Going from your world to his. We're building our own world, actually. Catherine's smile didn't waver. How lovely. I hope it works out. Though these things rarely do. The lifestyle differences alone. Is there a point to this conversation? Imani cut in. Because if you're trying to make me feel small, you're gonna have to try harder than that. Catherine blinked. I know what people think, Imani continued. That I don't belong here. That I'm some gold digger who got lucky. But here's what you don't know. Marcus almost died 6 months ago. I pulled him out of a flood and brought him back to life. So whatever bond we have, it's deeper than cocktail party small talk and stock options. She stood, smoothed her dress. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to find my boyfriend. Have a pleasant evening, Catherine. She walked away with her head high, heart pounding. Found Marcus outside on the terrace. Phone still pressed to his ear. When he saw her face, he ended the call immediately. What happened? Catherine Morrison happened. Understanding flashed across his face. What did she say? The usual. That I don't belong in your world. That we're too different. Imani crossed her arms. She's not wrong. I don't belong here, Marcus. I don't know how to talk to these people. I don't know what half their conversations are even about. So maybe she has a point. Maybe this is all. Stop. Marcus closed the distance between them. Catherine's been trying to get me to date her daughter for 5 years. She's jealous and she's petty. Don't let her get in your head. It's not just her. It's everything. I feel like I'm constantly trying to fit into a world that doesn't want me. Then stop trying to fit. He cupped her face. Baby, I don't need you to be someone you're not. I fell in love with a woman who saves lives in scrubs and eats soul food and calls her mama every morning. That's who I want. Not some society version of you. Imani's eyes burned. But your life is changing. Because of you. He smiled. You think tonight was just about the initiative? It's about building something that matters. Something my mama would be proud of. And I'm doing it because you reminded me what's important. Marcus. I love you, he said simply. Every stubborn, beautiful, brilliant part of you. And if Catherine or anyone else has a problem with that, they can take it up with me. Imani laughed despite herself. You're really going to pick a fight with a board member over me? In a heartbeat. She kissed him. Deep and slow and full of everything she felt. When they pulled apart, Marcus's eyes were dark. Let's get out of here. We can't just leave your event. Watch me. He took her hand, led her back inside, and made a quick round of goodbyes. Then they were out in the cool night air, laughing like teenagers. Where are we going? Imani asked. Your choice. She thought for a moment. Mrs. Johnson's? Perfect. They showed up at Mrs. Johnson's kitchen at 10 p.m. Marcus still in his tux, Imani in her borrowed dress. Mrs. Johnson took one look at them and shook her head. Y'all are crazy. We know, Marcus said. You still open. For you too. Always. She fixed them plates of leftovers. Fried chicken, greens, mac and cheese. They sat at the counter, eating with their fingers, talking and laughing. The fancy dinner forgotten. This was real. This was them. I have something for you, Marcus said later, reaching into his jacket pocket. Imani's heart jumped. If that's a ring, it's too soon. It's not a ring. Relax. He pulled out an envelope. Open it. Inside, a deed. To a house. In Third Ward. Imani stared at it, not understanding. It's for your mother, Marcus said quickly. Before you get mad, hear me out. It's in her name. Fully paid off. I know she's been talking about downsizing. About finding something with one floor so her knee doesn't bother her. This place has no stairs. It's 3 blocks from Mrs. Johnson's. And it has a guest house in the back. Marcus. For you. If you want it. No pressure. But I thought, he paused. I thought maybe we could start building that life we talked about. On your terms. In your neighborhood. Close to the people you love. Imani's hand shook. You bought a house. Technically, I bought 2 houses. The main house and the guest house. Your mom gets the big one. We get the little one. If you want. If I want. She looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. Marcus, this is too much. I know. I have a problem. But Imani, I'm tired of going back to my empty penthouse every night. I'm tired of waking up without you. I want to build a home. With you. You're serious. As a heart attack. He took her hands. I'm not asking you to marry me. Not yet. But I am asking you to move in with me. Or technically for me to move in with you. In 3rd Ward. Where your roots are. Where we can actually build something real. Imani laughed through her tears. You're really going to leave your penthouse for a guest house in 3rd Ward? Best decision I'll ever make. She kissed him. Poured every ounce of love and gratitude and hope into it. Okay, she whispered against his lips. Okay. Let's build our home. Together. Marcus's smile could have lit up the city. 1 year later, Imani stood in the backyard of their little house, watching Marcus teach neighborhood kids how to build solar panels. The initiative had taken off, providing jobs, cutting energy costs, changing lives. Mama sat on her porch next door, laughing with Mrs. Johnson over sweet tea. This was home. Not perfect. Not always easy. But real. Marcus caught her eye, smiled that still made her heart flip. She'd saved his life once. Pulled him from dark water. Turned out, he'd saved hers too. Just in a different way. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If this story touched your heart today, consider leaving a super thanks. Your support helps me keep creating these emotional stories for you. And every single contribution, big or small, means the world. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.